Welcome to the Stock Exchange in Johannesburg. We are live at Exchange Square, and I've got with me here Geoff Rothschild. He's here to talk about this initiative to try and see if regional stock exchanges can put up a platform on which people will be able to trade the companies that are listed in the region. Geoff, thanks very much indeed. I'm slightly confused by this new initiative because I am thinking, first of all, you've got the regional stock exchanges on their own which are operating. Yes, some of them are very small, but they are operating. And then you've got the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, one of the most liquid stock exchanges in the world, one of the top 20 stock exchanges in the world trading. And it's got an Africa board that it's been trying to establish to try and see if African companies can come and list here and raise money here. And now we have this other initiative. Where do you guys stand in relation to all that?
The starting point is that every country in the Sadec region which has a stock exchange, and there are 10 out of the 15 countries that have stock exchanges, they have their own exchanges on which they trade local companies.
Okay.
Over and above that, we set up in the Kosi region of having a look at could we do what they call a hub and spoke model. And that was to try and connect the exchanges so that the information from one exchange could be visible to all the countries in the region, but trading would still happen through the local stockbroker.
Okay.
If you talk about the Africa board, the Africa board is an initiative to create a board in Johannesburg, which is there. And the idea behind that is the larger African companies would list on that board, dual listing, not going away from their present home exchange, and it would give visibility to those companies. In other words, local and international, when I say local, African continent, international investors would be able to view those companies, realizing that the JSE, as a member of the World Federation of Exchanges, has got visibility amongst all asset managers.
Okay. So how far are you on this process now?
The hub and spoke?
Yes.
The hub and spoke, all the viability has been done.
Okay.
We have done the business case, and the big challenge now is to get the funding.
Okay.
And so
I'd say another challenge is to get the politicians in line as well.
I don't really think that the politicians have got too much to do with it. If they did, maybe we'd be able to tap their pockets for some money. But
seriously, have you got them behind the project now? Wouldn't you need regulatory approval, the approval of the various ministries of finance in the region too?
No, because you're not really taking anything away from the home exchange. Okay. You're merely creating more trade, hopefully, in the home exchange.
Okay. What about the foreign exchange regulations? How do they play into all this? I would imagine there are countries where people would need permission to be able to trade across the region and move money into another country.
That's definitely a challenge. But if you look at the Sadec region, there's a financial investment protocol, or the FIP as they refer to it, which has been agreed to by all the heads of state. Yeah. And Sadec is only one country away from the total ratification of that. And that's about harmonization of everything within the regions, from customs unions through to regulations. So therefore, you've got your heads of states buying into the concept in the Sadec region.
But we do know those guys are notoriously difficult to convince, and that one country may be one country too far away.
We were told quite categorically that one of the countries who hasn't yet approved is at the verge of doing so, and that'll bring our numbers up to the required level where there'll be total approval.
Our prayers are with you. Can we put a time frame for this? When do you hope this will be up and running?
The hub and spoke?
Yes.
Very difficult. It depends on how quickly we manage to get the funding. Obviously, we'd like to have greater trade in the region. We'd like to be able to attract a lot more in foreign capital into Africa as a whole. But it's dependent on finance being available. There are other avenues that one can try and walk down to try and achieve the same end result, and that we will do.
And in terms of the funding and sources of where you may try to get that funding, where are you looking at?
Predominantly at the moment, we put in a request to the Sadec, who've got funds that flow to them from various aid organizations around the world. And we hope that they may well look upon this favorably. And if it happens sooner rather than later, then we'll have a result sooner rather than later. But as we all know with Sadec, things don't happen very fast.